a family member experienced property damage, a physical injury, or lost business income.
Yo! What's good, everybody? Big shout out to who?
The big man above.
Come on, chat. Come on. Big shout out to who?
The big man above.
Dang, bro. The big man above, bro. Come on, man. Hey.
Guys,
Get the videos.
this help bring down some of the nation's most dangerous criminals.
Oh, we got the FBI, 10 most wanted.
As for what makes the list special, it only features criminals that the FBI deems to be especially serious threats to society. And to get on it, you basically have to do something extremely messed up or have a very lengthy record of major crimes. The story behind the list goes that back in 1949, a reporter asked the FBI to list out the 10 toughest guys that they were trying to catch so they could ask the public for help. After obtaining the list, the reporter published the criminals' pictures on the front page of the Washington Daily News, and the rest is history. Since then, the FBI has been able to catch almost 500 wanted fugitives thanks to public tips. These are the current criminals on the list.
Damn. Only one black person in here. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It's like a lot of Mexican people, bro.
Bhadresh Kumar Shetinbhai Patel. On April 12, 2015, a CCTV camera captured two Dunkin' Donuts employees, one male and one female, walking towards the shop's back room at around 9:30 p.m. before disappearing from view. A few seconds later, the man comes back into the camera's view, and it seems as if nothing out of the ordinary took place in the minute that went down between the two clips. A few minutes later, customers alerted the police when they didn't see any employees in the shop, and that's when the cops discovered something horrifying. Lying on the floor of the shop's back room was an Indian woman named Palak, lifeless, who had been pummeled to death by the man in the footage. As it was later revealed, the man who took Palak's life was her husband, Bhadresh Kumar. As the authorities later learned, the couple had been through a series of major arguments in the months leading up to that day. According to court documents, the two of their visas were about to
Appreciate the
expire in a
like,
few
you know what I'm
weeks.
saying? What's good,
Palak wanted to go back
good?
to India, but Bhadresh
King of
Kumar
the
wanted to
weather.
stay in the U.S., and it looks like he couldn't find a better
Oh,
way to
hell
communicate
no.
his frustration with the situation than to brutally take his wife's life. After the crime, Bhadresh Kumar was last seen taking a
You could just let us.
taxi from a
You talking about GG.
hotel in New Jersey to a train station.
Somebody said they knew what's
What
good
he did
was
after that
good.
is really anyone's guess.
She had to ask somebody.
My boy said he from Bangladesh. That's tough.
No way.
What's good, what's good?
That bad for that, bro.
To bring more attention to a suspect who might otherwise walk away scot-free, the FBI placed him on the most wanted list.
GG stands
As
for
of today,
Golden
there's a
Grams.
$250,000 reward to bring the suspect into custody. But almost 10 years after the crime, it looks like that won't happen anytime soon.
He said he from New York. Shout out to New York.
Alejandro Rosales
I got a homeboy that stay in New York.
the youngest.
You should watch it, man. I'll be profile a lot of people, dog.
Azerbaijan. He said I like them, subscribe. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Suspect
Yeah,
on the
we're
most
gonna keep
wanted list,
going up.
26-year-old
Sooner or
Alejandro
later, we're
Rosales
gonna have
Castillo has been on the
100K
FBI's radar for
subs
more
in
than
this
8
month.
years. In 2016, he shot his female co-worker Sandy Lee in a wooded area in
Cash
Morris
nasty.
County, North Carolina. A few days later, the female victim's car was located at a bus station in Phoenix, Arizona. As the authorities
He
later
said,
found
"Please
out, there
return."
were multiple people involved in the case, with the main ones being
What's
the
good, what's
victim,
good,
a woman
Crystal?
named Amia Feaster, and Alejandro himself, all of whom worked together at a restaurant in Charlotte.
What's good with everybody?
During the investigation, the cops learned that Sandy Lee and Alejandro
Debating on if
dated,
I should eat
and
these
after their
last
breakup,
two.
Castillo started dating his other coworker, Amia Feaster. According to court documents,
And
Sandy Lee
these
had
is
apparently
indica,
met
so
somebody
these
named
put you to
Alejandro,
sleep.
and on August 9th of that year, he texted her to meet up with him at a
Cash
cafe
nasty.
located on Eastway Drive in Charlotte, claiming that he was going to pay her back. Disturbingly,
He
that's when
watching
Castillo decided to rob her at gunpoint,
the
take her life,
FBI's
and flee to
10 most
Mexico.
wanted
In an eerie clip of
explained.
CCTV footage that was later released by the authorities, the suspect can be seen crossing the Mexican border through Nogales,
Virginia,
Arizona,
you know
along
what I'm
with his
saying?
girlfriend Amia. couple of months later that same year, Mia turned herself into the authorities in Mexico and was charged with accessory after the fact of felony murder
Rest in
and
peace,
larceny of a
X.
motor vehicle. Based on her testimony, she
And
and her
shout out
lawyer
Slump
even
Guy,
stated
you
the
know what I'm
killer's
saying?
cousin.
I heard he got him a
At
little
some point,
Twitch
Castillo
channel.
had once again
And now he
disappeared with
doing
no
the YouTube
explanation,
thing.
and that's when she decided to turn herself in. As of 2024, the FBI has no further clues that could lead to Castillo's arrest. Right now, all they know is that he's probably still living in Mexico. The last time
Nah,
he
I
was
stay
seen,
in
he wore his
Cali,
hair
but
short
like,
and shaved
I'm
on the
from
sides,
Virginia.
but that's pretty much all they have to go on. As of today, there's still a $250,000
I love
warrant for
country
his
boy,
arrest,
you know what I'm
but there have been
saying?
no further updates on his case.
People need to take people's lives, bro.
I'm good, I'm good, I'm good.
Ask this.
He said Virginia Beach. I stayed out Virginia Beach.
Say it.
I just got paid $6,000 for my car crash and using this app on my phone. And I don't know if
He said middle of nowhere.
Before we move
But
on,
now
I
I'm
want
from
to take some time to
Chesapeake.
talk about this video's screen number stolen check. When I typed
Chesapeake.
16, the
757.
Bulgarian entrepreneur Ruja Ignatova stepped on stage in a beautiful red dress at the Coin Rush global event in Wembley, London to talk about her vision for the future of her crypto company OneCoin. During the presentation, she claimed that in 2 years, everyone would forget about Bitcoin and that OneCoin would dominate the crypto world as the one true cryptocurrency. It's hard to imagine that any of her excited, applauding investors knew that they were stepping into what was
My
later
day
described
good,
by
you
the
know what
New
I'm
York
saying?
Times as
Just
one of
woke
the
up.
biggest scams in history.
Man,
For several years,
I've been up.
Ruja, or the crypto queen as she's known
But
nowadays, promised her buyers a 5-fold and even 10-fold return on their investment in OneCoin.
this
Normally,
the
these kinds of
first
claims
time a nigga didn't set up
but because
since
the entire world
motherfucking
was
earlier.
scrambling to get on the crypto action, a ton of investors jumped at the opportunity without thinking twice, resulting in a massive OneCoin buying frenzy. Between 2014 and 2016, OneCoin raked in more than $4 billion from unsuspecting investors, with more than $50 million coming from investors in the US. As the
How much?
in 2016, OneCoin raked in more than $4 billion.
$4 billion. And it's all a Ponzi scheme, ladies and gentlemen. This coin stuff, it's all a Ponzi scheme. You buy in and make everybody buy in, cause everybody wanna buy in for the low. So when they get high,
Y'all think these are gonna be worth something in the future?
but only she knows when it's time to pull. So it's
Cause I don't want to keep them and
now,
they not be worth something in the future.
I'm talking about these little coins like this, bro.
Are you talking about this
It's
one?
crazy.
From unsuspecting
Not all of
more
them.
than $50 million coming from investors in the US. As the investors learned when they bought into OneCoin, the company was pretty much a pyramid scheme in which they were
Like,
rewarded
cause like
as well.
I be wanting to open these motherfuckers, but then I be wanting to keep them in a box just in case they be worth like hella money in the future. Like everybody know Undertaker about to retire in a few. This figure right here, this is an elite figure for Undertaker. With the jacket, the head sculpt,
However, in 2016,
the hands and everything.
investors started complaining that they were really struggling to sell their OneCoins. They didn't seem to recoup their investments.
Like I got hella figures, I got hella figures in boxes, I got like tons of figures that's out the boxes.
Unfortunately, it was a little too late by then.
Like
Less than a year and a half after a presentation in Wembley,
I
Ruja
regret
got on a
opening
plane
up
from
the
Bulgaria
CM
to
Punk figure
Greece,
that I
and
done
was never
had from
seen
like
again.
AEW.
Duh!
But like I done seen videos of like
Finesse!
collectors and they be like, oh, figures ain't worth nothing, they just worth like you should open them, that or this and that.
Nah, she.
But then I be seeing like videos of like pawns, like pawn shops and stuff,
Shoot!
and people be selling their figures and those shits be worth hella money. So like I don't know, like, cause like Alpha and Sika and motherfucking The Rock peoples, this all they family tree.
Crazy lit, bro. Crazy. Astronomical
In
lit.
one of her emails, she proposed an exit strategy to her partner
Like,
Carl Greenwood, which
I
consisted of
would
taking the
open
money,
this,
running away, and blaming somebody else for
but
the whole thing.
I
During the
need to know that
investigation,
like they
Carl ended
not
up
gonna be
pleading
worth
guilty to
nothing.
wire fraud and conspiracy to launder
Grills
money,
on them
which
off
was
now.
sentenced to 20 years in prison.
About
As it was
15
later revealed,
chains.
the FBI had been onto
She
Ruja
got
long
about 3
before she
watches,
fled from
man.
here.
Don't even know the time, man. All she know is money.
To look into her company's practices.
Flexing on.
Like
After learning about her extremely
I got
sketchy business
this
practices and her grand scheme to steal billions of dollars from investors all around the
Stevie
world, she was
Ray.
charged with wire fraud, money laundering, and securities fraud. This promptly landed her spot on the FBI's most wanted list, becoming only the 11th woman to earn that distinction. Looking into her past to find clues as to what could have influenced Ruja to do something so nefarious, federal investigators found some pretty interesting stuff. As it turns out, Ruja was fluent in 4 languages, was extremely intelligent, once had a job at a high-ranking consulting firm, and had been obsessed with fashion and maintaining her image from a very
Like
young
look at
age.
this.
It was only with the benefit of hindsight that prosecutors were able to clearly see how she used all these qualities to carry out her malicious plans. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the FBI will
And
find
then
her
there's more
It's
back
been
there.
rumored that after fleeing the country, the crypto queen may have drastically altered her appearance with plastic surgery and is believed to travel with armed guards at all times.
Yeah.
And yes, that was Debo
Disturbingly, there have
from
also been
Friday.
several allegations that she was murdered by
If
the
you ain't know,
complex.
he used to
Yeah.
wrestle
Decoy body.
under the nickname
Duh.
Zeus.
Been at it. I had that when I
That's
hit
for
TV.
like the early wrestlers from like WWF
Duh.
type shit.
Next.
But this hasn't been proven. If she is still alive, the FBI suspects Ruja is traveling on a German passport to the United Arab Emirates, Bulgaria, Germany, Russia, Greece, and multiple countries in Eastern Europe. Considering how elusive she's been since her disappearance almost 8 years ago, it's unlikely the FBI will ever find out what became of Ruja Ignatova after pulling off one of the largest financial scams in history. Arnaldo Jimenez.
Blessing, you ready? Let me tell you something. Everybody too broke to come out here. How about that? You can't, bro. You can't. did they even say a price to find her? You're never gonna find her. That's not even her no more.
Not finna get shit.
4-door
I'm hang up on your dumb ass. Goddamn, like nigga finna answer their phone call. Like, the only time you answer your phone call is when the nigga about to troll y'all stupid
I
ass.
changed my mind.
Like,
To make it half a bill.
It didn't come back to pick up her kids at school the next day. Her family called the cops, who ended up finding Estrella's remains still in her wedding
every
dress.
time I'm about to receive a
Immediately,
settlement,
a nationwide search
bitch,
for Arnaldo was launched.
you got
But
the
by that
wrong
time, the
fucking.
suspect was long gone. During the
Ain't
investigation,
about
it
to
was
receive
revealed
no
that
fucking
Jimenez had reached out
settlement.
to a friend before fleeing and told him, if anyone asks where I am, tell them I went to Mexico. Since then, the authorities
That's
have
why I
received
hate
multiple
when
tips that
niggas
Jimenez
got
may
the
have
same
fled to
phone number
Durango
as
or
you.
Tamaulipas,
You get
Mexico,
random
where he's
ass
believed to be
phone
hiding
calls
out
from
with family
niggas,
members.
and then niggas be
Initially,
texting
a
me like, "Oh, I'm sorry,
$100,000 reward was issued
wrong
for
phone
anyone with
number."
information that could lead to his arrest. But 4 years after
Like,
he was placed on the most wanted list,
you
the
know they
FBI
ain't
increased
had
the
this
reward
phone
to
number no more.
$250,000.
You wanted the goddamn
Burbank police have
contact
stated that in the past 12 years they've
to see
received
if she
hundreds
had
of
the
tips
same
about
number.
Arnaldo's whereabouts, but none of them had led to anything significant. After the crime, investigators traced his phone and determined that he had traveled from Chicago
One
to
time a
Tennessee,
nigga got
then to
down,
Arkansas, and
called
from
my
there to
phone to my
Hidalgo,
song.
Texas, very close to
"Oh,
the
what's
Mexican
good?
border.
What's good? Oh, you was talking to my girl." I'm like, nigga, I don't even know your girl.
Well, you go after child support for
He
body
told me, so you don't know
cash.
who such and such? I'm like, nigga, no.
That is the
I
most
said, you got the wrong
odd
number.
thing, I guess, right? Mexico the spot, boy.
They were unfortunately unable to determine
I don't even play that.
Police have
Why
also
would I
been
talk to another nigga girl when I wouldn't even want that shit that happened to me?
If the suspect is ever caught, he'll be spending the rest of his life in prison for first-degree murder and
It's
unlawful
like,
flight to avoid
don't do
prosecution.
something if you wouldn't
But
happen to
based on how
you.
things have played out since the last time he was seen,
You got
it's
to
unlikely
take a nigga
Arnaldo will
girl,
ever pay for his
Yeah,
be
intrusion.
willing to get yours took.
Patel Ominison. As the leader of one of Haiti's largest and most violent criminal gangs, Craze Barry, Vitel Om Innocent, which do not let his name fool you, he is indeed not innocent, has terrorized the region for years, earning a spot on the FBI's most wanted list for his role in a string of brutal kidnappings and murders. In October 2021, he collaborated with the notorious 400 Mowozo gang to carry out the high-profile kidnapping of 17 Christian missionaries in Haiti. Disturbingly, 5 of the kidnapping victims were children, one as young as 8 months old. Held at gunpoint, the hostages were reportedly kept captive for 2 months while the gangs demanded a ransom of $1 million per hostage. It was only after an anonymous donor paid an
I got a
undisclosed
whole
sum to
beard
Craze Barry
going,
and
like
400
all of
Mowozo
this down
that the
here is
missionaries were
facial hair.
finally released. Based on
I
court
literally got a whole
documents,
patch
Innocent
of
and his
facial
crew
hair
ended up
right
spending
here.
the ransom money on weapons. That same year, the Haitian president was assassinated,
All I
which
need
caused
is for this
Innocent's
shit to do
influence to
is
grow
just finish
exponentially in the
connecting,
chaos that engulfed the country.
and then it
In
go
the
over
aftermath of the
here,
assassination, Craze
and
Barry
then my
claimed new
mustache already
territories and
trying to
expanded
like
their
go
ranks
down
quicker than the
here.
cop can
So
even keep track of. In 2023, Craze Barry boasted an estimated 600 members, many of whom were young
I
children
ain't
who were
gonna lie,
involuntarily
that
recruited to
nigga
serve
been.
Innocent's criminal organization.
I ain't gonna lie.
Almost exactly
I
1
think
year
I'd
into
be
the
good in a
kidnapping of the
movie,
Christian
like
missionaries, Craze Barry kidnapped 2 U.S. citizens under Innocent's
a pretty
orders.
chill movie. Yeah, watch me on the big screen,
I want to get that. Like you said,
52
go restart.
inch.
More ammunition. More guns. This is. Dang.
See me in some type of action movie, some type of superhero or something.
Beyond Franklin and Jean Franklin. Unfortunately, one of the victims
Be
did
like
not
a little
survive,
super
but rather
villain or
was held
something.
for a $300,000 ransom. Somehow, Innocent still managed to walk away scot-free. In April 2024, CNN released an interview where Innocent brazenly showed off his luxury home, which sticks out like a sore thumb in the extreme poverty surrounding him. Surrounded by gold.
You got a lot of nuts. Boy.
I ain't gonna lie, my superhero would be like Rockman or something.
He let you inside
Like
his
when he
home.
about to punch or something, his whole fist will turn into
In
like
the
a
cameraman.
stone or like
You
rock,
could. No.
and then just
No.
Couches and chairs, Innocent explained to the reporter how he came to power. In the interview, he shamelessly blamed Haiti's corruption on the country's
and then in the other
politicians,
hand
refusing
is
to
just
take
like
any
a
responsibility for his own
strong ass
actions.
hand with like
Interestingly, he
veins
also alleged
popping
that
out and
before
shit.
becoming the leader of Craze Barry, he had once owned multiple legitimate businesses, including a hotel and a rental car company, but said his companies were destroyed by the government. According to multiple crime analysts, Innocent was once a political activist before he turned to violent crime to maximize his influence. Back in the U.S., Innocent is wanted by the FBI for an insanely
With some
long
black
list of
ripped
crimes,
jeans
including kidnapping for ransom,
and some
theft,
black
murder,
boots.
assault, vehicle theft, and destruction of property. There's a $2 million reward for information leading to his arrest, but with powerful connections and an armed gang, it'll be pretty tough to ever bring him to justice. Omar Alexander Cardenas. In 2022, the FBI released 2 eerie before and after clips of a man walking into and then running away from a shopping mall area on August 15th, 2019. The man seen in the video is 29-year-old Omar Alexander Cardenas, and let's just say that he didn't exactly go shopping in the time that elapsed between those 2 clips. After disappearing from the camera's view, Omar walked up to a man standing outside the Hair Icon barbershop at an outdoor shopping center and fired several rounds from his semi-automatic handgun at his head, killing him instantly. Immediately after committing the crime, Omar fled the scene a little after 4 p.m. as he can be seen in the eerie.
I'm gonna have to fix this Los Polo thing in the chat. I don't know why when Los Polo come in the chat it does it. I'm gonna have to fix that, bro. I'll fix it after this one. Y'all remind me.
FBI footage. A suspected member of the Pierce Street Gang in Los Angeles, and often going by the nickname Dollar, Omar is suspected to have fled to Mexico to seek refuge among his relatives. In September 2021, a federal arrest warrant was issued for the suspect after he was charged with murder and unlawful flight to avoid prosecution, thanks to which he was pinned on the most wanted billboard. Even though he committed a brutal crime pretty much in broad daylight and didn't exactly shy away from the cameras after doing it, the cops seem to know surprisingly little about Omar. The only things they really know about
Approximately 240. £300. Oh, y'all say he's no joke. Y'all say he's approximately 5'6" to 5'7". It ain't funny, bro. It ain't funny, y'all.
About him are that he's around 300 pounds, wears thick prescription glasses, has at least one tattoo, and is considered armed and dangerous. Which alone is hardly enough to track down a criminal who's crossed international borders to flee prosecution. With time, hopefully more information will surface leading to his potential
He got
to flee
boy got tied up for 5 jogs, man.
prosecution. With time, hopefully more information will surface leading to his potential extradition and arrest. But for now, it looks like Omar will remain a most wanted criminal. Yulan Adonai Archaga Carayas. Back in the 80s, a gang known as the Mara Salvatrucha was set up to protect Salvadorian immigrants from other gangs in the Los Angeles area. Fast forward a couple of decades, and the Mara, or the MS-13 for short, had become one of the most brutal and violent criminal organizations in the world. Nowadays, MS-13 has a strong presence in El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, the US, Canada, and even Spain. They engage in all kinds of criminal activity, from drug trafficking, human trafficking, extortion, murder, and racketeering, often using extreme violence to maintain their influence and control. For many years, a man named Yulan Adonai Archaga Carayas operated as the head of MS-13's criminal activities in Honduras, providing support and resources to the gang in Central America and the US with firearms, narcotics, and loads of cash. Often operating under his alias Porky, Yulan is wanted by the FBI for trafficking multi-ton loads of drugs through Honduras to the US, and for the killing of several rival gang members. Among Porky's colorful criminal charges, you'll find everything from murder to racketeering conspiracy to drug importation to possession of machine guns. Even though he's only around 160 pounds, Yulan is considered one of the most powerful men in Honduras, as the MS-13 gang has had the country in a chokehold for years. The most shocking part of the story is that at one point, Porky had already been apprehended by the Honduran authorities and was even taken to a courthouse for a hearing on charges of murdering 2 Honduran prosecutors. But during the hearing, 20 armed men dressed up in the same clothes as the anti-gang police units walked into the building escorting a veiled suspect and suddenly opened fire on the guards. In just a few seconds, the men subdued the guards and safely escorted Porky out of the courthouse, killing 4 police officers in the process.
Wait, so you're telling me they dressed like, oh man, like the guards? Wow. Facts. If this is like a GTA heist, bro. Wicked mission, bro. Bro.
For obvious reasons, Porky is considered armed and extremely dangerous. Due to the sheer nature of his crimes, the FBI is offering $5 million to
Dang!
One of the things that makes it extremely difficult to track a suspect like Porky down is that he's taken every possible measure to fly under the radar. Although he's believed to still be in Honduras, he and his security team use untraceable numbers from Israel and Poland, and he goes to extreme lengths to keep his whereabouts a secret when he contacts his family. Although the hunt for Porky is far from over, he's likely to remain one of the most elusive and dangerous fugitives on the FBI's most wanted list for years to come. Alexis Flores. One seemingly peaceful afternoon in July 2000, 5-year-old Ariana De Jesus was playing on the street in Philadelphia with her sister and friends when her mom went out for a quick trip to the store. When her mom came back, she started living every parent's worst nightmare. Ariana had been taken by a suspicious man. Immediately, her mother reported her missing, triggering a citywide search for the 5-year-old girl. In a desperate effort to bring more attention to the disappearance, Ariana's family and friends covered every neighborhood wall, light post, and stop sign with flyers and missing posters, but nobody had any clue what had happened to the little girl. Unfortunately, after a few weeks of searching, the cops found her unresponsive in the basement of an abandoned apartment building just a few blocks away from where she had been taken. Disturbingly, the authorities also found a t-shirt featuring a bold political logo at the crime scene, which they deduced belonged to the suspect. During the investigation, a man came forward stating that he was pretty certain the t-shirt had belonged to a guy he only knew as Carlos, a drifter he had once employed as a handyman. Unfortunately, despite the promising lead, the case went cold for several years, leaving Ariana's family devastated and confused. It wasn't until 2007 that the authorities were able to analyze the shirt again thanks to recent advances in DNA technology, and what they found changed the course of the investigation forever. The DNA in the shirt was a perfect match with that of a man named Alexis Flores, who had been arrested in Arizona in 2002 for shoplifting and in 2004 for forgery. Unfortunately, by the time his DNA was linked to the crime, he had already been deported to Honduras years earlier for other, less serious crimes. As the police would later find, finding Alexis Flores was going to be a lot more difficult than they initially thought.
He need a beat.
Throughout his colorful criminal career, Alexis had provided multiple fraudulent dates of birth and names. Despite his inclusion in the most wanted list, the only things the FBI really knows about him are that Alexis is around 5'4", 130 pounds, and has visible scars on his forehead and right cheek. Due to his crimes, he's obviously also considered armed and extremely dangerous. With a $250,000 reward on his head for the crimes of kidnapping and murder, you would think that someone would have come forward with information on this guy. But 24 years after the crime, Alexis has remained unfound. Wilver Villegas Palomino. The National Liberation Army, or ELN, is a Marxist-Leninist guerrilla insurgency group in Colombia, often referred to as Colombia's last true insurgency and one of Latin America's most powerful criminal organizations. In the past few years, the ELN has expanded aggressively into Venezuela, thanks to which the National Liberation Army now has over
What's
6,000
good, Yusuf?
active members.
What's good? What's good?
Interestingly, for the first few decades after its foundation, the group mostly
Bro,
focused
it's so sad, bro. Like, bro.
Is she texting someone behind your back? A single Spokio search can help you find out who she's messaging. Spokio can also help you discover other details like photos,
It's
email addresses,
a
current residences, and more.
Gemini
Try
tag.
Spokio today and uncover the
And
truth
then
about
this
the people
my
around you.
grandfather.
The end of Kanye has always been what I would call a polarizing figure, meaning some people hate him and other people love him. And depending on the exact area you're talking about, you can have drastically different people on either side. But recently, Kanye has been saying and doing things so crazy that even his biggest fans have denounced him, burned their merchandise, and even had to admit that they can no longer hang their hat on the fact that he once made legendary music.
Bro, why does everybody always mention graduation? It's almost like insulting to late registration. The commercial was funny. He had a commercial?
Legendary music. It's no secret that Kanye has always been a wild card.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
But that was also one of the main reasons he was so loved by so many people. His I don't give a damn attitude was refreshing to see from a celebrity, and for him, attention was so obviously a drug that he desired his entire life.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Now, there are many people who believe that Kanye's mother Donda was the one who would keep him in line.
Got a lot of confidence to come up with.
Kanye actually did have one of the best documentaries I ever watched.
But it'd be important to remember
Like artist
that
documentaries.
the giant looks in the mirror and sees nothing.
But at this point, she has been gone for almost 20 years. May she rest in peace. And we have seen all kinds of versions of this man since then. But in the last couple of years in particular, he's gone from like, oh, that's my boy, even though he says some out-of-pocket conspiracy from time to time, to being completely indefensible. We all know that Kanye likes to take to Twitter to get his rants off. And so he went on there and straight up started saying that he loves. He says that it was dripped out. He straight up called himself and continued his very public disdain for Jewish people.
We know I can't say that. It was a Jewish doctor.
No one always makes me laugh for some reason. Yo, I'll say this, bro. No, I'm not gonna. I usually try and empathize with everybody. You feel
This
me?
man Ye
Because
said
it's
free
worth
Puff.
understanding
Hell
everybody's
no.
POV,
Keep his
but
ass
he
locked
does
up.
have some indefensible arguments, and not even on no woke shit, just on some like human being
Damn,
shit.
we got
You feel
6
me?
likes.
On some human
That's
being
tough.
shit. I used to think of Kanye West as the guy who would always eventually be right. The reason why is because every time in my life where I thought like, what the fuck is this nigga yapping about? The years go by and I think like, oh shit, that's what he was talking about when he was talking about the fashion industry. That's what he was talking about when he was talking about the rap industry. Like it was things that I didn't understand at the time, but later I grew to have an understanding of what he was talking about. But some of those takes as of recent that hasn't developed, you feel me? Like the time where he was talking to TMZ and he said slavery was a choice. Even if he's speaking metaphorically or poetically, I do think he's reached the era now where that's no longer true and that he's saying things for shock value. Even if he believes some of it. I think he's saying this for shock value.
1 second.
Because he knows niggas gonna be like, what the fuck? But Kanye is the rare breed of person where no matter what he says, he can't be nerfed. Anybody else says some shit like that, chat, it won't be laughed off, right? They're getting gunned down, metaphorically. He's one of the rare breed. He might be the only one on earth that can say whatever he wants and has not been nerfed. You feel me? Anybody else is being taken off Spotify. They're being like completely suppressed across all socials, including Twitter, which is the one he's getting these off on. Every other, I can't even fathom another person says any of this stuff and they're not getting nerfed to oblivion. Nerfed by everybody. But so he's low-key a unicorn in that like he can say whatever he wants, which kind of gives him like a special type of power in the world that nobody else has. And you get where I'm going with this. So the fact that I feel like he's using it recklessly makes me a little sad because I think in a way people listen to Kanye where they wouldn't listen to another person that said something like this. This would be ignored if anybody else said something like this. But when Kanye says it, people will listen. So he truly does have a lot of power. And I think he can use the power for good. But when he's not, it really just feels reckless, bro. And this feels like one of them times right here. Wow. Yeah, nigga was going on. Honestly, there's probably 2 I missed because there was too many of them over the last week.
He also took time to show his admiration for P. Diddy of all people, and he would even beg Trump to pardon the fucking creep, and also say that he is a great father to his kids, alluding to the idea that he wishes Sean Combs was his father. And Kanye would even release a hoodie to commemorate the video where P. Diddy whoops Cassie's ass in the hallway of that hotel that looks just like the one she was wearing that day, literally profiting off of a traumatic, horrible situation in the process. Like, this is a man who has 2 daughters, saying that this sick sack of shit who abused countless women and men in every way possible should not only be liberated, but celebrated. I mean, just a couple of years ago, he was saying that Puff was a Fed.
But as far as Meek Mills, Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these niggas, all you fake hard niggas, fuck you. Hold on. All you fake hard niggas, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck because you can't shoot nobody anyway. And the reason why you got to talk is because you did a deal, you fucking Fed. Because part of the deal, for you to be a Jordan, and get out of jail is that you promise that you're gonna go pull my co-car. So y'all niggas shut the fuck up about me.
So it's like you never really know what might slip out of Kanye's mouth. Oh yeah, he also took time to defend R. Kelly, saying that his beyond creepy marriage to Aaliyah when he was 27 and she was 15 is totally alright. Now, one of his
Fuck
final
no.
moves, he would post up a t-shirt
Nigga
with an
said
anti-Jewish
a
symbol.
15-year-old Aaliyah and a 27-year-old R. Kelly was okay.
This is where
This
shit
nigga
really gets
Ye
crazy
is
because
tripping.
he had promoted this website the same day during the Super Bowl.
So what's up, guys?
No wonder why he losing his marbles. He can't even think
Like
straight.
all the money for the commercial on these new teeth. So once again, I had to show
Got your
them
girlfriend out here walking around ass naked and shit. Like, bro, you
This
is
play
wild.
the Super Bowl.
If you've recently been injured in a
Bro,
car
who
accident
told
that
you
wasn't your fault, I've got
dressing your
one
shorty
question
like
for
that
you.
is
Do you know how to get
okay?
the maximum compensation that you deserve in the shortest time possible without jumping through countless hoops?
Go to easy.com.
So basically, hundreds of millions of people saw an ad for a Nazi t-shirt. What Kanye did was the old bait and switch, because when the ad originally aired, the site had normal clothing on it, but after the ad aired, he made it to where this was the only item available, with the SKU being labeled HH, which many people now refer to mean hail, well, you know who. That all tells me that this was his plan the entire time. He so clearly loves playing the card where he tries to draw up controversy to promote his latest work. In this case, it seems to be an AI album that he's releasing called Bully. But the thing is, over time, he's had to do and say crazier and crazier shit to garner the same amount of attention. And now this once billionaire who had the world in his hands has become the boy who cried wolf. Like, honestly, no one gives a fuck, dude. Like, even your biggest fans are ashamed of this shit. They can no longer twist and turn the narrative enough to even try and defend it. I mean, when you got the Kanye rant saying that Kim was right to keep the family away, that's how you know he's almost completely lost them. Like, they're burning their Kanye shit. And I just don't get, why ruin your legacy to spew conspiracy theory and nonsense?
Bro, I genuinely think that his brain cells might have deteriorated as a result of drug abuse. I'm not even trolling. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm being dead ass. I genuinely think he might not have the same cognitive ability due to drug abuse, which is serious. That's a serious matter.
This was one of the most influential people on the planet. He was becoming infinitely powerful with his clothing line and his music and his shoes, and he was getting all this influence and all this wealth, and then you just throw it all down the drain. It just makes you look like an out-of-control dumbass. And the funniest part to me was while saying all this diabolical shit for days at a time on Twitter, Elon Musk had absolutely no problem. He didn't suspend the account. I would actually argue that he was boosting up these tweets because he knows more and more people will come over to Twitter to see the crash out, and he wouldn't take any action at all until Kanye straight up started posting hardcore adult videos right onto the timeline for his millions of followers to see. And that's when Kanye's account went from being limited to being deleted altogether. And thankfully, Shopify also removed his store after around a day, and likely he will not receive any profits from the sale of that shirt. I mean, don't get it twisted, guys. All this shit from the adult content to defending P. Diddy to the blatant racism is not shit that should be
They
spread
are
on this scale
sniping
by
this
someone
nigga,
with
bro.
the influence of Kanye. I'm just not surprised at all that Elon would let all this other shit slide because he most likely agrees with a lot of it. But hey, I guess porn is where he draws the line. It's been no secret that Kanye has an addiction to adult videos. He has talked about it on national TV.
They are sniping this nigga, bro.
Your attitude towards women
He
has
deleted his own
changed
account?
since having daughters.
Nah, I still look at pump and blacked is my favorite.
Oh, what
There were
the
videos
fuck?
that proved he was forcing Adidas executives to watch adult videos of Kim on the clock at his request. Come on.
Did you have a video with Adidas you played?
No, okay, let me put this shit in perspective real quick, okay? Bro, Lizzo peer pressured somebody at a strip club to do something we're uncomfortable with and had her dancers overworked a little bit, saying they weren't getting enough bathroom breaks, and niggas was furious, okay? That's what Lizzo did. Like Lizzo, don't like Lizzo, that's not a crazy infraction. Kanye just said the most egregious shit he could fathom in his fucking brain. And this is what I'm saying. He truly has like a special tier, even in entertainment. Because I promise you, anybody else is 1% of this, and they're sniped. They get sniped. Bro, what the fuck? What the fuck? The question really becomes, what can he say? When is it crossing the line?
I'm saying, yeah. What's your perspective on that?
But he made graduation.
Long rumored that
Bro, with all due respect, Michael Jackson was sniped, right? There's no debate about it. They sniped Michael Jackson. True or false, the things they were saying about him, they made documentaries about this shit. They maligned the nigga name. They did everything in their power to bring that nigga down. They sniped Michael Jackson. So you can't say he's too big to get sniped. They're doing it to Drake right now. They're sniping that nigga. It don't matter who you are snipeable. If there's nothing they could come up with, they will make something up, bro. Anybody could be sniped.
that he has straight up corn playing on a non-stop loop while he is working on music or anything else creative, no matter who is around.
Watching Star Wars on this big screen, and as I started talking about a song, he switched on a...
I mean, a decade-long addiction.
Enter a brave new world with the GMC Hummer EV. Powerful performance and revolutionary technology keep you ready for any mission. And see Marvel Studios Captain...
Bro, what? Bro, what?
Been long rumored that he has straight up corn playing on a non-stop loop while he is working on music or anything else creative, no matter who is around.
Watching Star Wars on this big screen, and as I started talking about a song, he switched on...
I mean, a decade-long addiction would not be good for anyone. And I do think this has factored into his demise.
The fact that I was married to this beautiful person, but I felt like it wasn't enough. I felt like I still needed to look at...
And it also really makes me think that this addiction is likely the reason for his initial infatuation with Kim Kardashian. After all, the whole reason she became famous was her viral tape with Ray J, something Kanye has admitted to watching many times. I mean, y'all have to understand that back when it came out, I believe that it made more money than any adult video ever.
No cap. If OnlyFans was around when Kim K tape dropped, she would be like the richest person on earth, bro. She would deadass be the richest person.
And so if Kanye saw her as like the top P-star in the world, well, of course he's going to want that. And if you need further proof that this has always been his crutch, Kanye himself has even noted that finding his dad's magazine at age 5 permanently altered him, and has in turn led to every one of his decisions, both good or bad.
Can you even be attracted to shit at 5?
Like, for me...
If you're 5 years old, can you even be attracted to anything? I feel like you can.
was my gateway into full-on addiction. My dad had a Playboy left out at age 5, and it's affected
I was to cars.
almost every choice I made for the rest of my life from age 5.
Understand that this interview was conducted 5 years ago when Kanye was making his album Jesus is King.
I wasn't attracted to shit until I was like 10 or some shit like
At that time, he was denouncing not only adult content, but also other prevalent themes in his music publicly, like drugs and lust.
That magazine that I found when I was 5 years old have an effect on my music. It could never be 100% everything it could be, because I had to add that in.
To be fair, bro, like it wasn't easy to find prawn back then. You know, like internet was slow. Niggas didn't even know about it like that. You know, unless you had a magazine, like you couldn't just like scroll on Twitter by accident and find the shit.
I heard you say with your pastor that you felt like you were making devil's music.
Yeah, because you're such a fucking hoe. I love it. Excuse me, Christian scorecard down a little bit, cursing some more.
Saying that corn should be banned altogether. Then a couple of years later, when he and Kim would get divorced, he would rant that she was trying to turn his daughters into models, saying that they should not even be allowed to be on TikTok. And now you fast forward to the current time, and he's been parading around his mute wife for the last 2 years, while she wears literally nothing. Like a woman with a saran-wrapped naked body with 3 crackers to her name would have more clothing on than her. And Kanye himself even said that his next big move was to start the biggest adult video company on the planet. So in short, the guy is a massive hypocrite who will speak passionately about whatever he believes at that moment, even when it completely contradicts some of his previous
So
statements.
basically,
It's not just
Ye
sexual. That
is
term actually
basically
relates
Diddy.
to torture. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like watching people beat
This
each
man
other
is
up
trying to
on
create his
World
own
Star or something.
And as ironic as it
adult
sounds, I
industry.
think the dude who so many consider to be one of the most influential artists of our time is actually too easily influenced. And his ideology has become so black and white that he has begun to come off as more of a shock value caricature of his previous self than anything else. Personally, I do not feel bad for this guy at all. I feel like he's actually had more chances than he really deserved because people loved his music and his personality. But now even all of that sucks. His biggest fans hate his last album, Vultures 2. They hate the idea of him bringing AI into mainstream music. And overall, he's pretty much completely washed up from a personality standpoint, artistically, and even logically. We talked previously last year about his alleged horrible addiction to nitrous oxide.
Ryan Garcia, this Jay, I'm on the nitrous.
And how this evil motherfucker is the one supplying him. Allegedly, that is. So I'm sure that also has something to do with the deterioration of his mind. But overall, I feel like this guy is really out of excuses. And just like many others out there, he's always liked to blame his downfalls on other people. It was Kim's fault for the divorce. It was the media who made him look crazy. It was the media who ruined his family. It was the media who took down his empire. No, it couldn't have been any of his bad decisions. It couldn't have been him constantly running his fucking mouth and being the biggest brand risk literally on earth. There's so many people out here who run around doing this exact same shit. And to me, that's how you end up in a situation where you are spiraling out of control and you're surrounded by either no one because you burnt all your relationships already, or all that's left around you is yes men. But either way, it's obviously not good. And the people I really feel bad for.
Has she ever talked? Is there a video of her talking?
This has literally been the definition of a crash out. But I want to know what you guys think down below. I also want to thank you guys for watching today's video, dropping a like and subscribing. Are y'all still going to be bumping that new Kanye? What do you guys think about AI music? Either way, y'all know it's been your boy the Tan Superman. Either way, y'all know it's been your boy the Tan Superman.
You left both takes in that bitch. W video.
I was about to say, don't tell me the only drinks I got in there was grape.
Boom. You're gonna like that one too, man. Go ahead, just.
You got the flu?
Bro, click that.
Like I tell people that get sick, get you some ginger ale, some cough drops, and some ramen noodles, some chicken flavor. Yeah.
Honestly, the end of Kanye.
I know, it's the show. And just be careful around your eyes. Just
Okay,
be
I
careful
won't
around
be
your
your
eyes,
eyes.
you know?
Is this safe?
I
Hey,
had
what's
a
going on,
migraine
everybody?
before.
First we feast, I'm Sean Evans, and
I
you're
know how
watching
that
Hot
feel.
Wings. It's the show with hot questions,
Child,
even hotter wings. And today we're
laying
joined by
on the
Lady
couch
Gaga.
and not being
She's
able
one of
to
the most decorated,
move for
multi-hyphenate stars of the
hours.
generation, a 13-time Grammy
More
Award-winning
like
singer-songwriter
days
with a pair of
type.
Golden Globes and an Oscar as well for her work in TV and film. Her
I'm talking
latest
about you
single,
can't eat, you
Abracadabra, is
can't
out now
drink,
with the next studio
because every
album
time you
coming
feel
very
like you
soon. And of
move, you
course, we
feel like
can't
you
wait
about
for
to
that.
like,
Lady Gaga, welcome to
you
the
know what I'm
show.
saying,
Thank you, Sean.
let it all
What's
out.
your mindset like going into this interview? Are you a spicy food fan by nature?
I do like spicy food, but I'm like feeling like I'm saying that now, and then it's gonna be really easy to make fun of me if I like can't handle this. But I'm focused.
I can see
I'm
that.
determined.
Locked in, step
See you
by
later,
step.
you know what
Are
I'm
you ready to get
saying?
started?
Yes. I just keep staring at them.
Oh shit, we got 7 likes now, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I think this is the most likes we got on the live so far. You know what I'm saying? Finna do the hoodie trick.
Okay. I'm gonna eat with one hand because I'm
Almost by necessity.
fashion impaired. That's good. Good. I like it. What What's in it? Are you gonna? Is this? This is not like a culinary show.
No, but you know what? You can stress test me. All right, I'm ready for
What?
it.
Okay, so you said garlic, lemon.
Garlic, lemon, and then it has like an avocado oil out of Brooklyn, New York. And so far, it looks like we're 1 for 1.
I think it's fine.
There we go.
Good.
So I like how hyped you get about production, like the excitement that you express over the spicy synths on Disease. Besides your own vocal performance and songwriting, what are the elements of production or sound engineering that you find yourself obsessing over most while making an album?
I feel like when I'm making a record, it's about like figuring out how I'm going to hone in the sound from song to song to make the album feel holistic, and it's about like choosing the analog synths. It's about figuring out what guitars we're going to use. It's about figuring out what the tone is of the piano on the record. But always at the end of producing an album, I kind of revisit every single song to just to completely hone in my vision for how it should sound. Lift off. I don't think I can lift off in this dress. Thai flavors.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy.
Citrusy, you catch the kind of lemongrass
Yummy.
after there.
Yeah, really good.
There we go, 2 for 2.
Yeah, I like them both. I think I like the first one better, but it was good.
That's all right. We'll keep the power rankings in our head.
But this is where we're starting?
Yeah, right. Right, yeah. No, it's a humbling
This is
show.
at the front of the class.
I know. So in the past, I've asked actors about the qualities that make for a great film director. I'm curious for you, what are the most important traits that you look for in a music producer?
I still feel like I did when I was a kid when I write songs. Like I get so excited about every lyric and every melody and what it could mean, and then talking about how to bring the song to life. So I definitely feel like collaboration is super important, childlike spirit, and like musicianship.
And sometimes you'll get just as excited talking about studios. You know, like when I hear you name check them, sometimes I'll talk about them with such intimacy, like laying down roots at Shangri-La, for example. I'm curious, is there like a vibe or like a tone or things that you look for that make a studio feel like home to you?
You know, sorry, I just...
Yeah. It's the show. It's the show.
It's perfect. For me, the home feeling of the studio comes from the music. So I actually find that I